couldn't leave this one out. Has to be in my top 3. Strawberry Hill is number 3 for me. She's been abused just as Ghislaine was, dug up, brought here, replanted, and got on with it. I mean, she's been here 2 years, and I think she was probably about a year old or so when she came here, and she's just got on with it. She's had 3 very long flushes, and there's not a great deal of roses on her now. We've had 45-mile-an-hour winds, and we've had horrendous rain. So they've done amazing, haven't they, really, when you consider what they're having to deal with. I've got a little spider here, look. What's he up to? Hello. You're on camera. You're very busy, aren't you? Do you want me to go? You're making another web. My garden is full of webs. They're everywhere. My windows are covered with them. The shed, the greenhouse. You walk into the greenhouse and it's like, it's like House of Horrors. I walk into the greenhouse now and I'm like a crazy woman. I'm flailing my arms around just in case anything sort of grabs my face. And you do it every day and they're back again. They're everywhere. Spiders, they're just everywhere at the moment. They're in the house, they're everywhere. I keep grabbing them and putting them outside and they keep coming back in again. It's just that time of year. This is Sweet Honey, and this is my number 2 best performing rose. It's in its first year, would you believe? Doesn't look very much now because we're at the end of October, so flowering is pretty much over for this year. But I have to say, it's been a powerhouse. I'll put a bit of vid or a photo up of how it was this year. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. A powerhouse of flowers, very strong. And look at the foliage, very healthy. Very, very, very impressed with this rose. It's number 2. It has to be number 2. It's just amazing. Gillian de Faligonde has been absolutely superb this year. She came into flower in June and she hasn't been out of flower since. No downtime this year. This is only her 2nd year here. She was brutally cut down and dug up when we moved here at the end of 21. So she had a few wounds when she got here, but she settled in so well. I'm absolutely delighted with her. There hasn't been a day where Ghislaine hasn't had, hello little creature, hasn't had buds, flowers. She's just been incredible. I'm over the moon with her. I think she has to take number 1 place, which, JJ did say, you're going to do a best of, which I don't really know that I'm qualified to do a best of, because I only moved here at the end of 21. So it seems a bit, take it with a pinch of salt, really. Because, you can't really judge, can you, when it's just the 2nd year here. They've not had chance really to get properly established. But having said that, this has been incredible and will continue to be for weeks yet. Look at the buds on here, and like I said, never without a flower. Thornless. There's nothing on it. Spikes to rip your arms to shreds. So there's that, and it's a repeat rambler, which is it's not rare, but there's not that many ramblers that repeat, and it's scented. It's just been a constant joy, really. It's, I mean, I just have to give it first place. I have to give it to Ghislaine. All of those are to still enjoy. So it has to be Ghislaine. It just has to be. Just chunking these out, look, for all she's worth. Just buds everywhere. Fantastic, isn't it, really? And not a gap in flowering this year. Not a single gap. She really has been a stunner. So I'm very, very happy with Ghislaine's performance this year, and she just has to be number one. She just has to be. So that's Ghislaine. Ghislaine de Feligonde, David Austin. She's wonderful. So she has pride of place here, really. Anyway, she's lovely. So I'm very, very, very happy with Ghislaine, and she, for me, deserves number one spot in my garden this year. This is the Voodoo Fuchsia and the pink cascading begonias. They were at the front during most of the summer, but these are the last ones for me to dig up. I've been taking all the begonias and the fuchsias and the dahlias out and gradually drying them off, and this is the last pot to do. It's a monster. On a night time it goes in the potting shed for the evening just so it doesn't get frosted, and it comes out for the day if it's decent weather, but I do need to put it to bed now. But it's been so pretty. It's not easy, is it, to dig them out and chop them down and clean them all up and then pot them into new compost to save over for winter, which is what I've got to do, and I have been doing. I've got quite a lot to do still, but it's so pretty. It's lovely still. So, but anyway, this is the last pot of the big stuff to redo, and I'll keep it, and I'll plant it out again next year, and we'll have this all over again. Pretty. I started going over the pots, digging everything up and putting some winter bedding in, but look, some alyssum hanging on here. And it'll probably self-seed itself anyway, so I'll have some for next year. But there's some little cuttings here that I did of euonymus, and these are some violas that I brought on from tiny little plugs earlier this year. Some more euonymus there, more violas. That's a bit of ivy. I think that's a viola, and that's just a cutting from a conifer, and some ivy and bits in there. But I mean, they're not spectacular as the summer pots, are they? They're not going to look anything like the summer pots do. But it's some interest when you come out in the winter, because I'm out here all the time, summer or winter, doing stuff. But hopefully these will be quite cheery when I'm out here doing bits in the winter time. Something nice. Another cutting there, look, Hebe. And these were just bits of ivy cuttings that I took in the summer. Back in June, I was busy taking cuttings of all kinds of evergreen stuff to put in the pots. So I'm glad I did, because I've got lots and I've used lots. I've run out, but I did a lot. This is another pot of winter stuff. I'm out here deadheading, so I might as well show you what's in these pots. But they're quite pretty, aren't they? They're colourful. And that's a skimmia that I took a cutting of in the summer, and it's gone in here. And this was just a cutting. Still got some anemones. Aren't they cute? End of October and anemones still in flower. I've got them in quite a few places in the garden. And this is just a Sarcococca that's at the side of the kitchen door, and it's just starting to come into bud. So hopefully we'll get some really nice scent from this. And this is another pot the other side of the kitchen door. Just some ivies and some pansies, just for some pretty, really. And the same in here. Just popped some pansies and some primroses in. And these, I think, are pomponettes. But they're quite colourful, aren't they? I mean, there's nothing like your summer beds, you know, they're so vibrant and full and lush. I mean, these won't grow, they're just going to sit there now till the spring. But it's cheerful. So, what can you do? That's all you can do, really. But there's a bit of colour in here. And the bulbs are in here as well, so hopefully when the bulbs are coming up, there'll be a bit more colour. And this kitchen bed's been redone, so I've just planted it with lots of primroses and violas and pansies and stuff. So this was full of perennials, and it's all been dug out. And I've just left a few things, like there's a potentilla there, and I've got a Pauly Daphne here, who was not very well. Sort of took one of those Daphne fits that they can take, apparently. Anyway, I've stuck it in the ground. I'm hoping for the best, but I have got cuttings that I took earlier on this year of that, which are doing really well. So they're like a backup policy for that, if that kicks the bucket. But I've just stuck a few bits in here to just make it look a bit more, because it was just soil, because we dug it over, because that was the plan, really, just dig it all over once we get to autumn. And that's Elizabeth, David Austin rose, that's been planted last week there. And here we have some more anemones. Aren't they cute? These are right outside my greenhouse door there, and I see them every day, and they're just so bonny. And there's more to come. Look at all these are flowers down here. Look, that one and that one, they just keep coming. Aren't they lovely? They're so cheerful. And this is one of the last of my dahlias that I need to dig out, dry out. I've done lots of them. This is a firepot dahlia, and it's in here sort of hiding out of the way and keeping dry. It comes outside if there's no rain forecast, because I don't want it to get wet at the moment. I'm drying it out before I dig it out, so it's sort of in the greenhouse if there's rain forecast, and it can sit outside during the day. It's liking it. And I'm keeping this here, this bud, because I'm wanting some seed, because I thought I'll see. I mean, I won't get firepot, but I don't know what I'll get. But that's the point, really. So I'm keeping this, and then when it dries off, so I'm hoping to hang on to this until that's ready for getting the seed, and then this will go in the garage in a cardboard box. It'll get all dried up and wrapped up nice and toasty warm, and go on a garage shelf for the winter. But I've done lots of dahlias already, but this is the last one, in a big one anyway, in a pot to do. And that's a coleus that's coming from the cold. So I've got lots and lots of cuttings of that in water on the kitchen windowsill at the moment that have rooted. So I'll be able to pot those up, but it's not easy keeping coleus in this country over winter. It tends to give up the ghost halfway through winter, so we'll see. But I have got cuttings, so you never know. And our neighbours bought us that, and it's lovely. I'd like to be able to keep it if I can, so I'm trying. In here there are lots and lots of violas and pansies for my tubs and baskets. It's pretty busy. The tomatoes came out yesterday because this was full of tomatoes along here, and they've all gone now. And we've had hundreds, absolutely hundreds of tomatoes this year, but they're not going to do anything now, so we just harvested what was on them. These are just a look at what's in the greenhouse at the moment, but it's mainly things I've dug up that I'm going to try and keep over. Pelargoniums, I've got some peppers and some chilies there to go in, and there's a few more small potted things like pelargoniums and fuchsias and dahlias over there. And these are more winter bedding. Look, they're just coming into flower. So these are some that I've been nursing, and I've got some that were in little propagators. They've done really well, and you can see there's flowers coming on these now. So these are going to be ready to start putting out. There's a lot down in there as well. And I've just got things like Calibrachoas, and that's something that I need to put out. That's another pomponette. These are some more of my cuttings. Evergreen cuttings, a good mixture there. They've all rooted, so I can add those into pots. I've got another fuchsia there that I'm keeping over winter. And lots of clematis in here at the moment. That's a Daniel Deronda. And that's a Emilia Plata that I got from Richard Hodgson. And down here I've got a filigree and a Lode, a bijou. They're all from Raymond Everson. There's quite a few bits in here, more pelargoniums here at the back, and I think there's some for me to sort out. What are they? Oh yeah, they're begonias at the back there. The odd rose in here. Oh, a tomato plant that didn't get got at yesterday, so I've forgotten that one. So that's an extra tomato plant that I need to get out of here. These are more clematis, That's a fuchsia. That's more clematis. This is more clematis, more clematis, more clematis, more clematis. It's full in here of clematis. And in here, what have we got in here? Mixed petunias, master peas, begonias, salvias, lots of salvias. I took loads of cuttings of salvias. What is this? Oh, purple basil. Oh, that's a cutting of Daphne, the Pauly Daphne. I took cuttings of her in the summer because, well, I just do that anyway with things I have in the garden, just in case there's a bit of an insurance policy. I'm glad I did, because she's sort of having a bit of a hissy fit. I've taken her out of the pot she was in, and I've planted her in that little garden bed by the kitchen, just to see how she goes. But this is a cutting of that, and there's another one in the no-dig bed out there, which is a lot bigger than this. So I do have extras of her if she does kick the bucket, which would be very sad, because I've had it probably 4 years now, maybe even 5. Anyway, she's not well, so I'm fingers crossed for that. What else have we got down here? Oh, Bidens, more salvias, lots of salvias in there. These are all cuttings. These are all clematis cuttings that have been in here since the summer, and some of those are... who's that? That might be camellia. I'm not sure. It could be a camellia, that. Possible. Oh, these are just some petunias that I'm keeping over. With fingers crossed, because they can be a bit iffy. Got to keep them very dry. These are all my sweet peas. Lots and lots of sweet peas in here. Some more clematis here that are from cuttings. And more winter bedding over there, look. More winter bedding. and more clematis. These are verbenas and pelargoniums. More sweet pea. Oh, what are they? Antirrhinum, I think. Yeah, antirrhinum seeds. More pelargoniums. Who's that? Carnaby, that's a clematis. That looks like, I don't know what that is. Is that a fuchsia? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, that's pretty much what's going on in the greenhouse. There's a black diamond hydrangea here. Got. The leaves got by that frost that we had a few weeks back. So it's living in the greenhouse just because there are buds forming, and I don't want Mr. Frost getting the buds, and it's small enough to bring in to the greenhouse, so that's where it's going to spend its winter, in here, just in case the buds get got. More cuttings out here, bit more hardier. That's an apple blossom cutting of a clematis, and there's some willow. That's the variegated, the flamingo, I think it's called, isn't it? Something like that. Anyway, they're just cuttings, and these are all rose cuttings. As Gorgeous is here. That's a nice leaf on Gorgeous. She's happy. And again here, these are, I don't think they might be Gorgeous or Sophie. There's lots of cuttings here, all roses pretty much, and they're all pretty much doing well. So the rose cuttings season this year was good. We've got a shelf full of them, so I'm quite happy with that. Over here, I've got a few remnants of things I need to sort out. I don't know what they are. A few more cuttings I've taken of things, but most things I think are okay. A few bits on here, azaleas that I'm going to put into one big pot and have a sort of 3 azaleas, hopefully flowering slightly different time next year. Masterpiece cuttings are doing great, look at them. More roses. Yeah, very good. This is a clematis called Ooh La La, and it's having a go. I don't think that one's going to make it. That bud looks a bit iffy. It's the end of October. What can you do? This one is, I think it's Dayu. It's got buds on down here. It was beautiful when I planted it a few weeks ago, but it's just about had it now. But it'll be pretty come next year. This one is Nignon, which is a white with a very dark centre. That's going to be gorgeous. So I'll have Ooh La La, Dayu, Nignon, and then this is Olympia. So another Raymond Evison. This is Raymond Evison. It's Raymond Evison. They're lovely, aren't they? This is Olympia. So to have this in at the end of October is pretty good, isn't it? Margaret Merrill has a bud. I don't know if she'll open or not, but she's trying. Pretty good. This I call Norma's Rose. I think this might be similar to what JJ has in his neighbour's garden next door. It's been in flower forever. Wasn't sure what to call it, so it might be flower carpet. I don't know. It's always been called Norma Rose because that's the lady who'd lived here prior. So I just called it Norma Rose because I found it sort of across the way there and dug it up. This is England's Rose. I'm trying to do something, but you know, they're up against it, aren't they? It needs deadheading. They're very much up against it, but beautiful. Can't imagine it's got any scent. Oh, it has actually. It has. What a trooper, you've got some scent. Potentilla, still got a few bits on it. And even Jacques Cartier is trying to bud up, look. Trying to flower. They're desperately trying, aren't they? Masterpiece looking good. Beautiful. I've got a lot of cuttings of that this year. This is a Hakona Cloa. It's not done very much since I put it in. It's live. But it doesn't seem to be growing very much, so maybe they're just slow, I don't know. But I bought it for the foliage because it has that red and greeny stripe to it. Can you see? It's it has some lovely red on it. And this back here, this is a lutein rouge berberis. Hopefully that will colour up now. This is our Beth. Look at our Beth. Isn't she pretty? She's so lovely. I've really enjoyed our Beth this year. And she's been in flower almost every week. And still smells lovely. And more buds on her there, look. Trying. More antirrhinums here, look. And the remnants over there of an anemone, which I'll be digging up and drying off. Go around and dig all my anemones up. There's one there, look, trying. Can you see? Things are not giving up. That's euphorbia. And even Irene Watson, this has been in flower a lot, has got buds. But I'm not expecting anything to come from them. I think they're just going to die. There's a few more antirrhinums down there. And of course, Alyssum. I've dug a lot of them up. And I took pelargoniums out of there because there was a lot all the way around there. But I've got those cleaned up and repotted for winter. This lavatier has been lovely. It's probably going to come out of here next year because I've got 2 strawberry hills in this bed. But it has been lovely. But it can go in the ground. These are just some petunias that are hanging on. Bless them. Nice and bright, aren't they? And of course, antirrhinums. Still pushing out a bit of colour. I've dug out a lot of stuff from here. I've been collecting seeds and what have you. But things have just about had it now. These are just the last bits of colour for summer. And it'll get cut down. This is stunning. The colour of this azalea that we brought back from Wales. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It's not even spring and it's not flowering. But when it does, oh, it's the most gorgeous magenta pink. But the foliage alone is worth it for me. Just the foliage because it's stunning. Love it. I've got a rhodie potted up here that's budding up. It's looking pretty good. And of course, that's a camellia, a high malice. That's a Shishi Gashira. And that's in bud already, wanting to come. So that gets squirreled away into the potting shed or the greenhouse if we're going to get any frost. Because I don't want these beautiful buds getting frosted off. I'm going to have to shift this. This is a Trachlospermum, jasmine. That's going to go live in the greenhouse for the winter because it won't be hardy enough to leave out here. If we get a -11 again like we did, it'll be dead. These are just bits of evergreens I'd left over when I'd taken all those cuttings. There's Sarcococcus, there's Euonymus, there's ivy, Hebes, all kinds of stuff. That's box. What's that? Escallonia, I think. I took a cutting of some Escallonias. That's some ivy that I did from cuttings, and again more Hebes and more ivies. But they're colourful, aren't they? Something going on. These are some pansies that I did from tiny little plugs, more hebes. Need to come out here and deadhead these pansies. More Sarcococca, more ivy. Oh, and that's a holly that I did from a cutting. He's kind of cute, isn't he? More pansies, of course. More euonymus and more hebes, more euonymus, more ivy. But it's just pretty. It's just something pretty to look at, isn't it? Some pots there with some more pansies in. They're quite colourful, aren't they? Some ivies. Bits of euonymus that I took cuttings of last year. Aren't they pretty, these? They look lovely. And you can see my begonia corms in there drying out. And of course that's Boogie. You can just see Boogie there through the window. I took her bracts off before I brought her in this week because I knew she'd have a hissy fit. But her leaves have not started dropping yet. But I've got lots of corms in boxes and God knows what in there, in trays and all over the... It started. But they will live in the garage. The corms will get put into brown paper bags and get put into boxes, and they're just begonia corms. But you've got to dry them out somewhere. So, I mean, greenhouse is pretty full. These are mums that I kept over from last year. Bought these in a sale last year for like 50p or something and thought, you know, they'll be okay. I'll chop them back. And they flowered last year. Chopped them back and they were lovely and kept them over. And it's basically free plants this year, isn't it? And they're just starting again, look. Aren't they nice? And I took cuttings. So from one plant that I got for a few pence, I've got 4. Not bad, is it? Not bad. More anemones, look. Hello. Aren't you bonny? These have been flowering, not these particular ones, since February. I did them in December. I started putting the corms in December in the house, and I had my first ones in flower in February, and then I did them in, you know, batches. Every few months I did some more, and so I've had anemones in flower since February, and we are now at the end of October, and I've still got anemones flowering all over the garden. How good is that? This is a heather that I kept over from last year. They're spread around the garden, but this is in a pot. But it's nice and colourful. Again, these are from 3 years ago. I keep them, and as soon as it gets really, really cold, I dig them up and I keep them in the greenhouse and then bring them back out again. Let them go quite dry over the summer and dormant, and then you can just start watering them and feeding them sort of September time, and out they come for fall or autumn or whatever you call it. Out they come for autumn, and it's lovely, isn't it? Not bad. A bit of colour. Not bad. This is crazy for you, and it's still flowering. This was a present from my mother-in-law when we got married. She bought this as a surprise for us, and it's been flowering all year, and it's still in flower at the end of October. How good is that? This is Obsession. It's a Nandina, and look at the colour on that. Absolutely beautiful. Really pretty. Daisy's White. I've had him 8 years maybe, and I couldn't see him either because this Phalaris grass was all the way along here. So, and I just clip this when he's gone dormant. I just clip him and keep him tiny. I mean, he is tiny anyway, but he's lovely, and he goes quite white. The new growth is quite white in the spring. But with the Phalaris grass gone, I can actually see some of these evergreens for the winter, which I wanted. The Ace has got his red colour on. He's looking pretty. Lost a lot of leaves on this Acer early on in the year. Don't think he liked the sort of drought that we had, and then the sort of rain, and I don't know, he just seemed to be suffering. But I'm not worried. Even though he has lost a lot of leaves, I can see bud. Look, you see here, there are buds everywhere. If there were no buds, I would have thought it's a goner. But because of all these buds everywhere, I'm not going to worry about him. I think it was a bad year. He took a turn for the worse, and he just dropped a load of leaves. And I mean, I remember back in August I did a video, and he was sort of autumnally coloured then. I mean, not red like this, not bright red, but he was bronzy. And I was like, this seems a bit soon. I'm a bit concerned. And then, of course, he's dropped, as you can see, he's dropped a lot of leaves. But I mean, it's end of October now. But as soon as I could see the buds, I sort of stopped panicking, really. Because this is Trompenberg, and I love Trompenberg. We put him in here when we moved here. We brought him with us. We've had him years. I think we must have had him, we had him about 6 or 7 years. But anyway, he was one of the first things to get planted. So I was a bit worried that he might be a goner. Anyway, he's not. So I think he's going to be okay. Oh, not the bud overlook. Sorry about that. There you go. That's better. So that's good news. The cherry tree is red and colouring up and losing its leaves. Everything's got that autumnal feel about it. When I was going around the garden today getting my flowers for my mother-in-law's bouquet, I picked a lot of things that were autumnal. I mean, she still had some things in that were, I put roses in and dahlias and, lots of nods to summer, but it was quite autumnal, really. I'll pop a picture up and then you can see what it was like. But things are more autumnal now, not as florally when you're doing your bouquets. But some things are still hanging on in there. If this gets cold, it goes in the greenhouse, and it's going to have to get cleaned up and repotted. But this has been sat here all year in flower, and because it's getting babied, it's carrying on. But there's going to come a point where I need to bite the bullet and get that cleaned up for winter. Sekisugi, looking beautiful. Really appreciate Sekisugi, especially in the winter time when there's not a lot of colour. He's good as gold. Beautiful. Wouldn't be without Sekisugi. Love him. The sedums are colourful. This time of year they seem to have taken on a really deep, rich colour. They're stunning, aren't they? Very nice. And the tall cherry tree is going as well. Look, the colours, reds and yellows and oranges on that. It's definitely got an autumnal nip in the air today. Some more sedum down here, looking wonderful. And the Cotoneaster, full of berry. It's looking really pretty. Everything's going to sleep now, though. The Lavateura's going to sleep. The Clematis is, I think it's already fast asleep, that. But Railway Rambler Rose has done well. That's sort of quite a way up the fence, so I've got high hopes for that next year. Get that up there. And this is a Clematis. This is Tetra Rose. That's gone to sleep. And the Thalictrum has definitely gone to sleep. And here's that Himalayan honeysuckle that I planted earlier on this year. It's flowering. And those berries are edible and they taste like chocolate. That's another bamboo that we brought back from Wales with us this year. It had outgrown its space, and we thought it could do quite well in a pot here, up against that fence down here. It'd like it. And I've planted clematis and honeysuckle in here to go up and over this rose arch here. And again here, more clematis and more honeysuckle, and it's off, isn't it? Look at that. It's liking it already. Pots of ferns and goodness knows what I've stuck in there. I need to sort that out for winter, but it'll probably just take care of itself. And I've put an escallonia in here, planted that a few weeks ago. That should be nice up here. And this is, we brought that back from Wales. Again, it was sort of outgrowing its space, so I chopped it right down. That's a Zephyrin Druin, climbing rose, and this is a clematis called Morning Heaven, and I got that from Richard Hodson. So I think they'll do quite well together. The colours should be quite nice, and they're going to go hopefully up and over this rose arch here. So we've added extra rose arches. I think, are we 11 now? We might be 11 rose arches now, I think. It's a bit embarrassing, but anyway. An embarrassment of rose arches. Anyway, yeah, I think we've got 11 now. I need to stop with the rose arches. I think my husband thinks I've got an issue. I just want to plant things. Anything that lets me plant more. And if you can't go out, you can go up, can't you? So going up's quite easy. Anyway, don't tell him I said that. This is a Hart's Tongue fern. It's had a lovely time around here this summer. These are some baskets that I've popped in with lots of cuttings. They're vinca and sarcococcas. I've put some pansies in, some more pansies, some hebes, and that's wintergreen. Some more euonymus, some more vincas. That's box, I think. Or if it's not box, it might be Japanese holly. More ivy, more vincas, and more hebes. So they're quite nice, aren't they? And there's quite a few of them. I think I've put 4 in here. Another Hart's Tongue fern. That's a phalaris grass that I dug up, but it's finished. But I'll leave it because I think there's creatures living in that, little insects like that. Some more vinca. Another basket that I did. These are all things that'll be happy around here because this is north facing, so it doesn't get much sun here. But in the winter, I think these are just going to sit here and be okay. More cuttings. These are all, they're just cuttings apart from the odd pansy. These are just cuttings that I took in June of things I already had in the garden. That's a weed that can come out. Euonymus, vinca, hebe, just all the same really. I just went round the garden, sarcococca, and just got what I could really. And this is a spider's web, Fatsia. It's doing quite well. It's liked it round here. Some more little pots down there. This is Phoenix, an Acer, which is getting its autumn colour. It's beautiful. And of course this is Orange Dream, looking stunning, beautiful, gorgeous colours on Orange Dream, absolutely beautiful, really pretty. Another Fatsia, spider's web here, and this is Going Green. Another Acer there, some ferns here, and this is another Acer. This is Yukigumo. He's getting his autumn colours, looking pretty. And another pot with cuttings in. These are hostas that I've chopped back and mulched for the winter time. They've finished now, so I tidied those up. And this is the last pot that I've hung on this wall. They've all got the same in really, euonymus and hebe and pansies and what have you. But a little bit of sarcococca, which won't do anything. They're just evergreen. They're not going to flower this year into next year, but they're just evergreen. They're just some interest to have over winter in these pots, and I think they look quite nice. They They decorate this part of the house quite nicely. This is Peachy, and Peachy's still flowering. Bless. Lovely fragrance from Peachy. It got so well with Ghislaine, and Ghislaine's still got some flower on her look. You just can't knock Ghislaine this year, whether it's the big one around the back or the cuttings here around the front. They've they've been superb, and they've been in flower since June and non-stop, so 10 out of 10 for Ghislaine de Feligonde. This is another cutting of that Crazy for You, and it's flowering just like its parent. Needs a bit of a deadhead. These are Esperanthas that I got from Dave and June last year. They're in flower. This is a lobelia, which has just about had it now, but it's okay. There's buds all over this blush noisette rose, the climber. Absolutely full of buds. Look at that. Stunning. That's going to be great next year. I had sweet peas up there this year. Because I only just planted that this year and I knew it wouldn't really do very much. So the sweet peas kind of took up the slack, but I don't need them next year. I'll have a designated area, I think, for sweet peas next year, because the roses they're going to do their own thing, I think. Even here, look, we've got more of the antirrhinums in flower, and this is the lovely fairy trying to flower. They've had enough now, but there are buds on it and it is trying to flower. I've still got anemones here. Look at them, aren't they stunning? And there's more buds here, look, coming. You see them, they just keep popping up. I give them a bit of seaweed feed and a mix of seaweed and tomarite, just to keep them going, because they just keep flowering, but they've been flopping about in the wind, so I've put a bit of a support here for them. But I've loved the anemones this year. The cosmos is all gone. There's some sedum there and a lettuce, which is just turning. You can see the colour of that. It's going to be spectacular. The sedum is beautiful, isn't it? But look at this. This is turning now. That's going to be quite fiery. I bought that because it's known to go. Can you see this colour down here? Absolute like crimson red. So that's going to be lovely. I'm happy about that. I've planted in here Olivia Rose Austin there. She's been put in this week. So hopefully she'll enjoy living in here. This is budding up. Hope we don't get a really bad winter again. This is a Nuccio's cameo. The Nuccio's brothers from California. They're retiring and selling up. So I think they won't be around. Their nursery's closing. I think they've sold the land to a school. But anyway, the famous Nuccio's brothers, if you never know anything about them. This is a Nuccio's cameo. It's not a rare one, but it is lovely. I do like my camellias. Beautiful. This is, who is this? Oh, it needs a deadhead, whoever it is. Oh yeah, it's Timeless Pink. Timeless Pink. There's some buds on it, but whether they'll turn into roses, I don't know. This Lavateria's going a bit mad. I'll come round here and have another little look at Peachy. How lovely is she? These are looking quite good, aren't they, on here actually? I think it's quite neat. Box. And this is an Akuba. That's a Hebe over there. These are all Sweet Williams, which I'm hoping will seed for next year. They've had a good shake. When they were going over, I kept the heads on for a while and then I gave them a really good shake, so I'm hoping some of that seed will take. And this is salvia that June gave me over the road. Beautiful salvia. So I've taken a lot of cuttings of that, so I'll have that next year as well. That'll be okay. azalea all budded up, look, for next spring. Hope the frost don't get to that, because that's a beautiful azalea. With a conifer here, and a pot that I just did the other day with some pansies and some cuttings of euonymus and hebes, and just a bit of colour really for winter by the door. And the same here in this container here by the door, just the same stuff really, just a bit of winter interest really by the door. Cheer the postman up when he comes. It's quite nice, isn't it? Same here really. I've just put pansies and my cuttings of winter stuff into here, and hopefully I can add some more, because I've got quite a lot in the greenhouse that are ready to come out and dress these containers up, so they'll be a bit fuller. But some of the cuttings I took are quite large, and then some are quite small, but hopefully these should fill out when I get the extras from the greenhouse. But some of these cuttings are a decent size. I took some larger ones so that I would have some impact on those, and it's worked. But they're looking quite nice, aren't they, actually? There's just a little bit of interest as you come to the door. It's quite pretty really to say, and I can pack these with some more of these. I've got a lot more of these in the greenhouse. Just have to remember to keep coming out here and deadheading, because they need it. But I think it's quite attractive really for winter. What can you do? You can't have it looking as colourful and bright as you do in the summer, but there's something there for interest. Conifer, need to trim him back a little bit later on. Just keep him, I like to keep him trimmed back so he won't encroach on the rows. And some skimmias here, they're looking pretty, aren't they? I took quite a few cuttings from those earlier in the year, and I've used them in the window boxes. They look lovely. And of course this is Sarcococca here. It smells amazing. It's just starting to get some buds on it. It's starting to rain now, so I'll be going in, but I need to sort all my pots out for my spring bulbs. These are where they've been squirreled away. Pots, lots of pots. So I've got to sort these out and plant my spring bulbs. Never ending, is it? There's always something to do. There's always something to do in the garden. And this is budding up nicely. This is a donation camellia. Fingers crossed that we get a good winter and not -11, because we had hardly any flowers on the camellias this year. It was really bad because of the -11 we got. They just got frosted off. So fingers crossed for a mild winter-ish. That'd be good. Oh, and look, gorgeous girl. She's still flowering. I mean, the end of October, and she's throwing out buds. I mean, how good is that? She's still throwing out buds, look. And blooms. She's an amazing, amazing rose. Whoever she is. Sophie's Perpetual, aka Gorgeous Girl. Pretty good. Well, it's throwing it down now, so I'm going to go in, and I'll be out later on, hopefully, sorting out my bulbs, planting up my bulbs for spring. Oh, won't that be nice? Spring.